Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of No Dust, No Worries, a budget Hearthstone laddering experiment. This month I am playing Rogue from basically scratch. We have a level 5 Rogue who's on a rank 24. We've actually lost the last 2 out of 3 games, I think, if anyone is keeping track. And we are going to head back into ranked play mode and see what we can do this time round. Okay, we have been matched up against Eroin-Ho the Priest. Hopefully our priest friend is as nubby as we are, because if it's anything like our previous opponents, we are going to be in trouble. Okay, so 2 backstabs and a blood fan against priest. The hand's a little bit thin. I think this sort of hand is really apt to run out of resources, but let's hope we draw into something, because backstab is such a great tempo card, such a great card to help you get control of the game. You know, it costs nothing, does a ton of work against aggressive decks, not so much against more control and mid-game heavy decks. Okay. So I will play our Bloodfen Raptor in response to the 1-3. 3-2 is one of the best things you can do when an opponent plays a 1-3, such as a Cleric or a Voidwalker or anything with 1 attack and less than 3 health. So perhaps a Goldshire Footman. What else is there? The Pirate that reduces the durability of your weapon by 1. Shadow Word Pain. Okay. So let's roll out our Hunter. So yeah, last time I was talking about thinking about some of the commons that we might be able to craft to improve this deck. Now, I'm not getting any packs until I reach level 10, and I'm definitely not doing any practice runs. I intend for the entire series to be broadcast on YouTube. I'm not going to play anything on my own. So we're just going to have to go with what we have. And we will collect the freebie on the Cleric. And now I need to ask myself where I want to backstab the light spawn. If I backstab the light spawn, backstabbing the light spawn means it can't challenge the Gnomish Inventor unless he spends 2 mana healing. Do I want to spend a backstab to make him heal next turn? Like, my backstab costs him a heal next turn. Potentially, he doesn't have to, and I think I will do that just as a tempo play. Taking away half his mana to heal. It's not too bad, I don't think. Okay, so going back to the commons, we could either start with the Rogue class commons, or possibly some strong common minions. Things that immediately spring to mind, actually, for this deck. I'm getting the feeling the deck lacks a bit of health gain, and one of my favorite cards coming out of the Grand Tournament expansion is Refreshment Vendor. I think Refreshment Vendor is a great 4-drop. What it does is, when you play it, the battle cry restores 4 health to both heroes. Now, when you're Rogue and you're likely to be hitting minions with your daggers, I think I would prefer to do this. When you're Rogue and you're more likely to be hitting things with your face and taking face damage, I think that a card like Refreshment Vendor more often than not will benefit you as a class. And I think that this deck will do very well to have 1 Refreshment Vendor at the very least. So that's definitely fairly high on my list of priorities. other things on my list of priorities. And ooh. Okay, ooh, I thought that Rocketeer was gonna go for my ooze. Okay, so do I want to develop my champ? No, I want to clear 3, and I want to apply some damage to the face. This play makes me quite vulnerable to Holy Nova, but I've already seen one this game, so I'm not expecting it too much. He's got 19 cards in his deck. I don't think it's too likely, but you know, it could happen. But again, it will take up most of his turn if he chooses to Holy Nova. There it is. Speak of the devil. But that's fine. 2 for 1, and I get to clear Miss Cleric with our Deadly Poison. There are arguments to be made for saving Deadly Poison for Assassin's Blade. Definitely Deadly Poison does a lot more work on weapons with higher durability. So adding 2 attack to Assassin's Blade adds 2 times 4 damage, 8 damage to the weapon, whereas adding 2 attack to a Wicked Knife only adds 4 damage to the weapon. So we will do this, and I think I will hold the weapon, because the 3 attack is exactly the same as the Assassin's Blade. I think I can save the Assassin's Blade for I can use the gather value later, get the value later, and I don't think any basically the situation in which I would swing face with this is when I'm probably racing the opponent to 0. Basically, I want to get them to 0, and I think they'll get me to 0. There's a question of whether they can reduce my health faster than I can reduce theirs, and I think a priest lacks a fair amount of burst damage, and so usually that's not a concern. Although when you have 2 Reckless Rocketeers in your deck, you suddenly don't lack burst damage, do you? Okay.
Here we go.
So I will swing, bringing it down to 6. Yeah, that's fine. Bring it down to 6. Fan of Knives. Well, Fan of Knives first to cycle. Now, Deadly is great next turn with my Assassin's Blade. Again, like I said, adding 2 damage to your weapon increases exponentially with the durability of your weapon. So Assassin's Blade gets 4 times 2 damage. A regular dagger gets 2 times 2 damage. So it's 200% as effective when you put a Deadly Poison on an Assassin's Blade. Oof. Feels like our deck is having a lot of trouble. But I can't afford to take the damage. Should I go face? I think I should go face. Going face here sets up lethal for the next turn, regardless of what he clears. And if he heals himself, I'm 1 off. So ideally I can draw into something. If he doesn't clear, he needs to find some way to deal 2 damage, and I'm semi-confident, although a priest deck with 2 Reckless Rocketeers perhaps has a higher chance of having ways to deal 2 damage than a regular priest deck. And it's actually quite interesting. I'm quite enjoying, even though, you know, we're dropping games and performing quite terribly. It's quite interesting to see what newer players are bringing into the game, and what sort of things they're doing, what sort of processes they're going through. Okay, looks like she is cycling for a burn. And no burn, but actually some good clear. And I think... Ooh. Counting on me not getting the 1 damage, that's a little dangerous. Little dangerous because I just found my damage. So in that situation, definitely you'd want to clear the ogre to sort of seal the deal, basically. And you definitely would have wanted to heal yourself to push yourself out of lethal range. So I think our priest friend had a little bit of a misplay, but I'm surprised at how much work the Reckless Rocketeers did. Okay, let's queue up for our next game. Okay, Rogue Mirror. I really like the Rogue Mirror. You really get to see the play style of the players come through. Now, taxing, which I've talked about, taxing the opponent's hero power isn't as relevant in the Rogue Mirror because the Rogue keeps the 1 charge. So I am tempted to throw back my 1s, or at least one of my 1 drops. I think I will throw back both of my 1 drops and search for 2. 1 drops are really quite bad against Rogue, because they deal with it so easily. Not 1 drop, sorry, 1 health minions. My apologies. Okay, do I want to coin ooze? Coin ooze, or do I want to coin weapon, then ooze possibly? Please be quiet. Let's weapon up. So I'm saving the ooze here because I think there's a fairly high chance that he's going to weapon up, and the ooze gets a little bit of value as opposed to 0 value. Here we go. Our ooze has done its work and taken away half of the rogue's hero power, but it's vulnerable to things like Eviscerate. It would have been much worse actually if our rogue opponent had Backstab, but it was not to be. And again, we are back to developing board presence, and really, that's the name of the game with Rogue. Tempo and board presence. Okay. Are you going to backstab my boar? No, but that sort of play, like that sort of gesturing, means you have backstab in your deck. Okay, I think I will fan Deadly and send the boar in to deal 5 damage, just to protect my Razorfen Hunter, who is actually out of out of backstab range. Requires my opponent to spend 2 mana to take it down. And as you can see here, this probably explains part of why I don't like Assassin's Blade. I play a fairly conservative, weapon conservative rogue style. Fairly weapon conservative rogue style, where I'll keep my weapon more often than not. Now, play a 5 for a 4/4, or 3 and weapon up. I think it's more important to play a 5 for a 4/4 and clear our friends off the board. And given that my opponent has already used an Eviscerate, seems unlikely that he or she will be able to deal with this Frostwolf Warlord. Okay, so last time I actually talked to... Whoa, okay. Hello, Emperor. Emperor is a problematic card, and we will talk about Emperor when the time comes. But for now, I will clear the Emperor, and thank God that I played a 5 for a 4/4, otherwise the Emperor would have gotten so much value. So why is Emperor problematic? Emperor is problematic because... Oh, interesting. I like the deck concept. Taunt and just taunt. Emperor is problematic because of how little counterplay sometimes you can have. Obviously you can counter Emperor with certain things such as playing a 5/4 on turn 5 or playing a 5 attack minion on turn 5. You can counter Emperor with things such as Arcanite Reaper, which I will not have, or Assassin's Blade Weapon Up. Wow. Okay, our opponent is going to have an awful lot of value in their deck. Let's hope they don't draw it, because if it goes into a protracted game, I don't think our deck will have the value, to be honest. Okay, so 7, 6, 2. I will draw a card, and that was a misplay, but I can play a taunt. Yes, let's play the taunt. I said that was a misplay because I should have cleared the ghoul, thereby activating its deal 1 damage to all minions death rattle before playing my Gnomish. But since I didn't clear the ghoul, it's a retroactively not a misplay. Let's put it that way. But yes, I really should have thought about my turn and whacked the ghoul with my deadly poison dagger, and then played the inventor. Okay, Healbot. Healbot makes me want to play... I could play Assassins, but I think it's more important to get a big threat like Ogre out, since he has basically 6 big cards in his deck. He's got 6, what was it? Arena Champions at 6/5 taunt, and he's got 3 Arena Champions and 3 Stormwind Champions. And that could be problematic if he draws those cards and I don't have big minions on the board to contest them. Luckily, we do have big minions on the board to contest them. And I will develop the slower minions. So often when you have a free turn, I like to play the slowest card. I like to play the slowest set of cards as possible. Okay?
Well
Played. And even though our friend got so many gang ups into their deck, it didn't quite work out. And that sort of shows the weakness of gang up as a card. Okay, so I think we will finish up for today. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. See you later.